Welcome back to Cage TV. It's your man, King Howie. Um, Happy 100th NFL season. Today is the day where all of the games take place and we see how these teams really look. But besides that, let's get into this shit. Okay. Antonio Brown is now a New England Patriot. And the funny thing about him being released, I had one on Facebook and posted, AB might go to the Patriots. And then when it happened, everybody was so shocked. I was like, this is typical Patriot shit. That's what they do. Bill Belichick has always said he wanted to play with Antonio Brown. I mean, shit. Bill Belichick ain't the only coach that probably wanted Antonio Brown to play for them. So, let's start from why this all happened. You have 3 egos on the same team. You have John Gruden, you have Antonio Brown, and you have Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock really wanted Antonio Brown to be a team player. Like, who knows who told Mike Mayock of all the things that went down inside the Steelers locker room in Pittsburgh? I believe he was given intel from the GM over there with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and probably some former staff, training coaches. Probably heard from other agents about the type of guy Antonio Brown is once he gets on the team. And I think Mike Mayock tried to bring some kind of control, monitoring of Antonio Brown that the Steelers never did. They kind of just let Antonio Brown be Antonio Brown. And we've seen what happened with that. Now, the Raiders give up a 3rd and a 5th draft pick to get Antonio Brown, to trade him over there. To me, Antonio Brown looked like he didn't even want to play with the Raiders. I think everything that he did prior to going over there, showing up at Derek Carr's house, I think that was all a publicity stunt to market to his fan base, to transition with him while he's moving to another team. Not only that, I think Antonio Brown knew what he was doing prior to going over there with the Raiders. It's funny. John Gruden was trying to be so buddy with Antonio Brown and be more on his side than he paid more attention to Antonio Brown than I think he ever did with Derek Carr. That's the funny thing about it. And when Antonio Brown found out that Hard Knocks was going to be a part of the Raiders' 2019 season, I think that played a big part in this too, as far as him marketing his brand. He knew all eyes were going to be on him. Not to mention, Antonio Brown had his own film crew with him that was filming. You know, he's a part of the whole social media cycle. You know, he's always posting stuff on social media. And it's funny how he buttered up all of these Raider fans. Came out to the press conference looking nice, sitting between Mike Mayock and Jon Gruden. You know, very professional, the way that press conference went. And you could kind of see how nonchalant Mike Mayock's feedback with the reporters was. It was very short and simple. Jon Gruden gave a lot of praise to Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown just pretty much praised himself up there on the at the press conference. Then you have the foot incident, you know, him messing his feet up. That's a setback. That causes him to miss practices. All Antonio Brown had to do was just show up to practice, not participate, but just show up to practice. I think Antonio Brown did that on purpose. Then you have the whole helmet issue, him sneaking his old helmet on the field, him filing a grievance to the NFL twice. And then you have this Mike Mayock incident. Now, Jon Gruden, I think, knew that there was tension between Antonio Brown and Mike Mayock. And I think the fines that Mike Mayock sent to Antonio Brown was probably more than what he would have gave somebody else. That's what I believe. And I think Jon Gruden was wedged in between these two to try to calm things down. You know, you see how on Hard Knocks, how Jon Gruden really didn't go off on Antonio Brown. He really tried to find middle ground with Antonio Brown, try to compromise and come to some conclusion. You know, have to talk to him in a different kind of way so that he don't push Antonio Brown away from him. You know, I think he was trying to cater to Antonio Brown's emotional flare-ups. And I think Mike Mayock was losing his patience with Antonio Brown. I think Mike Mayock, knowing that, you know, that being a huge acquisition to the team, is going to draw a lot of eyes and attention to the team. You know what I'm saying? Which is what you want. You know, that's what you want. You want, you know, you want to have a okay superstar quarterback, Derek Carr, Fresno State quarterback, Derek Carr, who also played with Devontae Adams. And you match him up with a superstar wide receiver. And you want to create that buzz. You want to build that morale. You want to, you know, up the level of competition within your quarterback by bringing somebody over here. And I think Mike Mayock was trying to use Antonio Brown as an example. You know, I think he was really closely monitoring Antonio Brown. Is he going to make it to practice today? What is he doing now? Did he go see the doctor about his feet? I think he was just too much on Antonio Brown that it was kind of bugging Antonio Brown to where he probably voiced his opinions to Jon Gruden about Mike Mayock. Now, did Jon Gruden say anything to Antonio Brown that Mike Mayock might have said that might have pushed Antonio Brown over the edge to do what he did by going at Mike Mayock, calling him a cracker and all of that? What would make Antonio Brown use those kind of words? See, when you start peeling this shit back layer by layer, you have to start thinking to yourself, what did Mike Mayock do? What did he say when Antonio Brown addressed his feelings about the fines? Because the agent had to get involved. That means Antonio Brown wasn't talking to the Raiders. Now, that video clip that Antonio Brown put out, yeah, I believe he's still cool with John Gruden. I don't think he's cool with Mike Mayock. And then you have to think to yourself, did the Steelers general manager let Antonio Brown just do whatever he wanted to do? Was there any reports of the general manager being upset with Antonio Brown? Only thing I heard about was, unless, I probably didn't really pay attention to the story. Only thing I heard about over there with the Steelers was Big Ben, the owner, Mike Tomlin. I didn't really hear anything about the GM. But Mike Mayock, this is a different kind of cat. And John Gruden put him in a position of power. And he's already starting off on a wrong foot with a superstar wide receiver like Antonio Brown. If I'm a free agent, I'm going to be kind of cautious about going over there to the Raiders, especially a big-time free agent. Now, let's be fair, Antonio Brown was doing some fuck shit. You know, his antics and the things that he do is basically marketing his brand. You know, Antonio Brown got a lot of endorsements. The whole helmet issue, he got an endorsement off the helmet situation. He's a high-profile athlete. Let's not get it twisted. Now, people talk about the $30 million. Did Antonio Brown really need that guaranteed money? Yeah, if the Raiders wouldn't have avoided it, he would have stayed with the Raiders. I believe he would have stayed with the Raiders. I don't think he would have been happy with the Raiders, but for $30 million, yeah, he was going to stay with the Raiders. But when you say, nah, we're going to avoid that $30 million because of your personal issues with a player, that lets me know right then and there, he could play. Antonio Brown can play on Monday, but he ain't getting the $30 million. Mike Mayock, you better be careful. You better be very careful, because I think Antonio Brown is probably going to file something with the NFLPA on what happened. I think the NFLPA is probably going to investigate this whole situation and find out what really went on. Because for Antonio Brown's actions to go off on the GM, you had to have said something crazy after finding him that kind of money. And then you wanted him to still play and not give him the $30 million? Oh yeah, lines were crossed. Lines were crossed. I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown is going to have some interview at some point in time. He can't play this first game signing with the Patriots. The Patriots. It feels like the Raiders got the tuck rule twice by the Patriots. You know, I just had a feeling. I was like, Brady need a receiver. Before we get there, let's slow down. Now, let's go back to this Mike Mayock and Antonio Brown. It was only right for Antonio Brown to say, release me. I believe any other player that might have been put in this position, I think they would have all left. Like, oh yeah, release me, let me go. Now, let's not forget, Antonio Brown got traded to the Raiders for some draft picks. He basically got, he basically went to a toilet bowl team. Like, yeah, go over there to the Raiders. Go take your ass over there to the AFC. You know, a team that ain't gonna win no Super Bowl no time soon. We got a better shot at winning the Super Bowl before the Raiders do. That's basically what the Steelers said. And then all of a sudden, you free this guy up to go anywhere he wants to go. And of course, you know he's one of you know how Antonio Brown thinks. He's gonna shaft both the teams, Raiders and Steelers. They know that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't like the Patriots. They know that. They know that. He knows that. He knows the Raiders don't like the Patriots. He knows that. Why not just, hey, yeah, I'm going to go over here. It probably was a team that offered Antonio Brown more money than the Patriots. But why not go to a team that's in a shitty-ass division who's going to probably sweep the NFC East? Probably going to sweep that shit. Probably going to win all 8 games. Got the easiest road to a Super Bowl possible. You're playing for Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. You're playing with the greatest system quarterback in NFL history with Tom Brady, who's won 6 system Super Bowl rings under the rulership of Bill Belichick. Why not go there? It was a typical move, typical last move. Now, they giving Antonio Brown a $9 million bonus, roster bonus, upwards to $15 million for 1 year. Now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a game-to-game contract. You know how the Patriots operate. Brady need a receiver. The receiver that they drafted in the first round is on IR. They got Josh Gordon back. They cut Demaryius Thomas, then brought Demaryius Thomas back. The offensive line is beat up, but the Patriots will find a way to fix that shit somehow. I don't even know who they got at tight end. I know they got a defensive back that's suspended for the first few games of the season. But let's not act like the Patriots had a stud wide receiver before and lost Super Bowls. They had Randy Moss. He lost with Brady. Brandon Cook, he lost with Brady. Brandon Cook lost with Brady and lost to Brady once he went over there with the Rams. Randy Moss lost with the 49ers. So the Patriots have had stud wide receiver. Chad Ochocinco, he didn't do shit. They've had star stud receivers and have lost Super Bowls. So Antonio Brown could possibly go over there to the Patriots, have an outstanding season with the Patriots, and still get to the Super Bowl and lose. And then what's going to happen with Antonio Brown after that? Probably get cut. He's probably going to get cut. And it's probably going to be a team within that division that's going to probably pay Antonio Brown buku loads of money to sign with some team that ain't going to win shit. Or he might get picked up by a team that might win shit. It's just depending on what Antonio Brown want to do. So all of these people that's, this is the Patriot, man, This is what the Patriots do, man. This is nothing new. So everybody being shocked about this shit, you shouldn't be. This is typical Patriot bullshit. I posted this shit on my Facebook page. Right after he got released, I was like, yeah, AB might go to the Patriots. I just seen it coming, man. Now, for those of you who haven't made y'all Super Bowl picks yet, my Super Bowl pick will be the New England Patriots versus the New Orleans Saints. And I'm picking the Saints to win the Super Bowl this year. Drew Brees will get his second Super Bowl ring. He might retire after that. Drew Brees might retire after the Super Bowl ring. He might just say, you know what? I got my second championship. I'm good. I'm out. Sean Payton might leave after that. So we don't know. That's just what I believe. But this whole Antonio Brown situation was basically two egos butting heads, one trying to control another ego, and Mike Mayock went wrong about it. You got to let Antonio Brown be Antonio Brown. Now, some people might not like the way Antonio Brown acts, but let's not act like this dude don't get out there on the football field and produce. Let's not act like he don't get out there and he do his thing. This dude is one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. His track record speaks for itself. The only people that should be feeling pissed about this is Raider fans. Now, I believe this whole Antonio Brown situation might bring some tension between John Gruden and Mike Mayock. I mean, Mike Mayock did what John Gruden told him to do. Go get AB. He did it. I think John Gruden would have high expectations of getting AB out there on the field, playing in the Raider uniform. And Mike Mayock's controlling ways screwed that all up. So I believe this whole, I don't know why people keep calling this a marriage. This is not no marriage. This is just a bad business. This was a bad business deal. I mean, we seen Antonio Brown's reaction that he posted when he said they released me and ran out there happy as hell. I believe he never wanted to be with a damn Raider. I think he was just trying to make the best of the situation, but he wanted to make best of the situation his way, not the Raider way, not the Mike Mayock way. Now, I do believe, it's a good thing the Steelers didn't have Hard Knocks, because I believe Hard Knocks probably asked the Steelers, like, hey, let us film y'all. Y'all want to do Hard Knocks? And I think they said, no way. We do not want to do Hard Knocks with Antonio Brown here. That is not going to happen. But the Raiders, oh, that's a good idea. You put cameras on Antonio Brown. You letting cameras get film Antonio Brown. Yeah, we see how that went. I think the Steelers did get approached by Hard Knocks. Hey, we want y'all on the show. Antonio Brown, y'all having all these locker room issues. I think the Steelers said, hell nah, no, we're not doing that. But this is California, baby. This is Hollywood. He out here in Hollywood. It don't get no better than that. Nobody want to be out there at cold-ass Schittsburg filming Antonio Brown catching passes in the snow. No. They want Antonio Brown out here in the sunshine in Hollywood. But for a short stint of what it was, I thought it was great for the NFL, publicity for the NFL. And it's only fitting that Antonio Brown, he's not going to play this week against Pittsburgh, but it's only fitting that his first official game will be in Miami against the Dolphins, and the Super Bowl is in Miami, at Dolphin Stadium. I swear to God, man, the NFL be scripting this bullshit. Whew. But anyway, man, I'm going to let y'all go ahead and enjoy y'all first week, official week of NFL football. Sunday, I will be at JP23 in Fullerton at the buffet, watching all of the games, celebrating a Packer victory over the Chicago Bears. So until then, man, remember, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'm out.